Hello everyone and welcome back to another video from Kotak Securities. The weekend is here, that means it's time for our weekly currency insights. So without any further ado, let's just get started. So if we take a look at the chart on the screen, we'll come to know that most of the currencies, or I mean all four pairs, have ended in the positive territory. सो अगर आप ये चार्ट की तरफ देखो तो आपको पता चल जाएगा कि जो हम हमारे चारों करेंसी पेयर्स हैं वो एक पॉजिटिव टेरिटरी में क्लोज हुए एंड अगर आप उनमें से भी अगर थोड़ा और गौर से अगर आप चार्ट देखो तो आपको ये पता चल जाएगा कि द जीबीपी हैड द बेस्ट वीक. नाउ व्हाई ये हम लोग आगे वाले वीडियो में देखेंगे, बट फॉर नाउ द जीबीपी वाज द बेस्ट परफॉर्मर फॉलोड बाय यूरो, then the USD INR pair, then the JPY INR. Now, coming on to what happened in the past week, or what were the factors that affected the price movement in the past week. So, for starters, we had the UK policy statement. Now, अगर आप न्यूज आर्टिकल्स फॉलो कर रहे हो या हमारे जो राइटअप्स है आप फॉलो कर रहे हो, सो आपको ये पता होगा कि यूके की फिस्कल एक स्टेटमेंट आना था फ्रॉम देयर फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर जेरमी हंट. Now he had a lot of responsibilities on his shoulders. He had to balance out. I mean, he had to be diplomatic so that they secure the seat for the next election. And at the same time, it was his responsibility to get economic stability and the lost confidence in the UK economy. Now, एक 55 billion pounds का एक gap था which he was expected to fill. Now he did chalk out a plan. He did propose a plan, and I mean, in his plan, he said that from the tax hikes and the government spending cuts, he'll be able to manage the 55 billion pounds. Now, the initial reactions from the market were negative as they started to think what were the effects be on the UK economy with the ongoing recession and whatnot. So एक जो जीबीपी आईएनआर था उस जो सॉरी तो जीबीपी यूएसडी था उसमें हमें एक डाउन मूव हमें इसमें दिखाई दिया. Now, of course, the market initially took it in the negative sense. Now, from the other data points, we had the UK CPI. Now, again, multi-decade high inflation चल रहा था वहां पर, and this time around the data uh, did not show any relief for the UK economy. अगर आप देखो तो अभी भी multi-decade high inflation है. And lastly, the major driver for most of the currencies during the week were the Fed members who were coming and talking in the media releases. Now, why was this important? Now, आपको एक बात थोड़ा अगर आप रिवाइंड करो तो आपने देखा होगा कि जब ये यूएस का इन्फ्लेशन डेटा आ रहा था, everybody started factoring that the Fed can actually go ahead with a slower rate hike or eventually go towards pivot. But this week, the Fed members in their press releases, in their speeches, they came out and told that the pivot is far from far um, too much to be expecting. And at the same time, they also clearly mentioned that the inflation data that we are seeing right now, it's just one data point that came in lower than expected. Now, immediately, जो risk sentiment था change हो गया towards riskier assets, from the riskier assets towards the safe haven. So we had a swing between riskier assets and the safe haven. So जिसके वजह से volatility जो थी currencies में काफी high रही. Now, these were the three major factors that affected the currencies in the previous week. Now, अभी technicals की तरफ देखते हैं. So, this is the daily chart of the USD INR pair, and अगर आप देखो तो we have shown an upward rising trend line here. So, जो fall हमें आया था, जो हमने देखा था the post the CPI data, that actually happens to coincide with the trend line level. And वहीं पर टेस्ट होकर we have seen a bounce in the currency pair. Now, this is a technical, आप definitely बोल सकते हो कि this is a technical thing, but then again, technical and a fundamental coinciding together always gives you the best trade. So जब भी ये US CPI थोड़ा negative टिक हुआ था, we saw a good down move, and जो support था वो exactly came at the trend line support level. From there, when the Fed members started telling that the possibility of a pivot is close to zero and that they need to keep the rates high to get the inflation under control, we saw an up move from there. So this was what happened in the USD INR. So let us take a look at what happened in the Euro INR. Now, Euro INR, I mean, both the European currencies, that's the Euro INR and the GBP INR, they were the biggest beneficiaries from the dollar softening. अभी ये एक हमने एक चार्ट दिखाया था with wherein we had pointed out a downward sloping channel, and we saw a break, but a follow through came just after the dollar started softening. अभी इसमें there is a catch. Now अगर आप देख सकते हो, we saw a good move from somewhere in between 80-50, and that prices actually went all the way up to 85 level. बट अगर आप ये 85 लेवल के पास जरा गौर से देखो, so we are seeing slight hindrance around this level. Now again, that is because of the Fed members coming and telling that there could be a rate hike, or it's too early to pivot, and that entire ongoing confusion, that entire ongoing ambiguity that the traders are having, that whether the Fed will raise the rates, or if they will raise the rates, how, what will be the pace, how fast they'll raise the rates. That sort of ambiguity has created a confusion among the traders, and the up move in the Euro INR has halted somewhere around the 85 mark. नाउ कमिंग ऑन टू द जीबीपी आईएनआर पेयर. सो जैसे हमने पहले देखा था कि जीबीपी आईएनआर जो है उसने काफी बेनिफिट किया था फ्रॉम द डॉलर सॉफ्टनिंग. एंड जीबीपी के बारे में आपको एक चीज याद रखनी है कि जीबीपी इज अ करेंसी दैट रिएक्ट्स टू द मार्केट सेंटिमेंट. मतलब जब मार्केट सेंटिमेंट रिस्क ऑन होता है, दैट मींस व्हेन द मार्केट सेंटिमेंट इज टिल्टेड टुवर्ड्स रिस्कियर एसेट्स, जीबीपी ऑलवेज आउट परफॉर्म्स. एंड ये बार इट वाज नो डिफरेंट. एंड चार्ट स्ट्रक्चर अगर आप देखो तो जो 94 9430 का या 9450 का जो जोन था, वो उसने ब्रीच किया, एंड देयर वाज अ स्ट्रांग फॉलो थ्रू. Now, of course, this came to a halt somewhere around 9750, 98 levels, but nonetheless, we saw a strong up move. Now, again, the reason for this coming to a halt, one of the reasons would be, strengthening in the dollar, especially when the dollar index bounced off the 105.30 mark. And next was the UK's finance minister chalking out the plan, and the market actually not liking it, or was left unimpressed by the plan. Now coming on to our last pair, that's the JPY INR pair. So JPY INR, अगर आपको पता होगा, it had found itself a good ₹2 range, and वो उसी में थोड़े comfortable zone में वो चल रहा था. But after the possibilities of the Fed increasing the rates at a slower pace went up, जो US 10 year bond yields है उसमें एक थोड़ा sell off आया. And if you know from the theme, the yen always responds to the price action in the US 10 year bond yields. So जैसे US 10 year bond yield थोड़ा, I mean, नीचे आया, थोड़ा नहीं, काफी नीचे आया, it went below the 4% mark. The Japanese yen literally appreciated against the dollar. The USD JPY chart actually went below the 140 mark, and उसका ही एक रिजल्ट हमें यहाँ पर भी दिखाई दिया. So वो एक कंसोलिडेशन जोन ब्रेक किया, and then it started moving higher. But again, as there is the ambiguity around the rate hikes was there, we saw the upward halt somewhere around the 58.50, or slightly below the 59. Now, coming on to what are the events to watch for in the next week. Now, we have the FOMC meeting minutes. Now, with the ambiguity going on, हम लोग एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं कि जितने भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं उन लोग FOMC मिनट्स जो है उसे काफी क्लोजली देखेंगे, टू फाइंड आउट क्यूज, to understand what the Fed's next meeting is going to be, or what the Fed's next step with regards to rate is going to be. एंड ये इसके रहते हमें एक थोड़ा रिस्क ऑन रिस्क ऑफ सिनारियो होते हुए दिखाई देगा, बिकॉज दे विल ट्राई टू लुक एट एवरीथिंग. लोग हर एक छोटी छोटी चीज से उन लोग एक क्लू लेने की कोशिश करेंगे कि फेड नेक्स्ट क्या करना. सो कहीं ना कहीं इस ये जो इवेंट, आई मीन जो एफओएमसी मीटिंग मिनट्स का जो रिलीज है, ये थोड़ा ज्यादा क्रूशल रहेगा आने वाले टाइम में, और स्पेशली इन द नेक्स्ट वीक. एंड उसके साथ ही साथ अगर आप बाकी करेंसीज का भी अगर देखोगे, तो पीएमआई रिलीज है फ्रॉम यूके, यूरोजोन, एज वेल एज द यूएस. एंड यूएस का वी आल्सो हैव द ड्यूरेबल गुड्स ऑर्डर्स. सो ऑल दीज फैक्टर्स आर अफेक्टेड टू स्पाइक अप द वोलेटिलिटी इन द करेंसी. अगर हम लोग बायसनेस की बात करें और रेंज की बात करें, तो यूएसडी आईएनआर में वी बिलीव सम रेजिस्टेंस टू कम समवेयर अराउंड दी 8220, 8230 जोन, एंड वहीं पर सपोर्ट जो है आपको 8130 का आते हुए दिखाई देगा. यूरो एनआर की बात करें तो बायसनेस जो है इसका एक थोड़ा रेंज बाउंड रहेगा एंड ऑन द अपसाइड 85.20 एंड ऑन द डाउन साइड 84.30 is where we see the broader range for the currency pair to be. Now coming on to GBP INR, GBP INR में 97.75 का हमें एक थोड़ा रेजिस्टेंस आते हुए दिखाई देगा, वहीं पर 96.75 का इसमें एक सपोर्ट आते हुए भी हमें दिखाई देगा. Then coming on to the JPY INR, uh, somewhere around 59 is where we expect the resistance of the pair to be, and on the downside 58 is where we expect the support to be. Now that's all for our currency insights today. We'll speak again next week. Till then, if you have not subscribed to our Telegram channel, Currency Corner with Kotak Securities, please do subscribe to that. We keep posting and updating about the markets, what is happening in the markets. कहीं कुछ भी ऐसे chart में हमें एक important observation दिखाई दिया, we do post it on that. So if you have not still subscribed, please do subscribe. Do subscribe to the Kotak Securities YouTube channel as well, so that you come to know every time we post a video. So that's all from my side. Thank you all for tuning in. Now see you all next week. Till then, stay safe, trade safe.
Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.